So taking a look at some of our Alaska news for this Thursday morning, we see that a North Pole man got 2 years for trying to cash a forged check. What was interesting about this is that he gave them his ID and his bank card when he tried to cash the check. So the bank was able to call the police, and the police basically surrounded him. Then he sped off through the Fred Meyer area over there in the Walmart area in Fairbanks. And at high rate of speed, of course, a police chase ensued, and they ended up calling it off because of safety. He then abandoned his car and ran, and somebody saw him, went into an abandoned house. They found him in there underneath a mattress and a blanket. And it was funny because when they first tried to pull him over, he said, "I'm not the guy," that they basically knew who he was. Yeah. You can't fix stupid, right? The state has now extended the current permit for the Pebble mine after a flood of comments that came in, which is interesting because they didn't start out and say, no, you can't keep on working anymore, but they didn't give them any more permits to continue any more drilling. So what's going to happen now with the Pebble mine is anybody's guess. A lot of folks who have been against it for conservationist reasons or whatever else, they're happy because they think that this means that they might end up winning their case. These are people who have absolutely no standing with this at all that are weighing in from around the world saying, you shouldn't hurt the fish. Well, okay, it's not been proven that they will hurt the fish. People are afraid that they might if something happens. Okay. Mushing fans have paid up, I believe, $7,500 to ride along with some of the Iditarod mushers when that ceremony will start in the Iditarod. I don't know who has that kind of money just to, I mean, if you want to take a mushing ride, I know some friends here in the Fairbanks area, especially mushers, they would be happy to charge you, I don't know, less than half of that to take you out for like several days of real mushing. But hey, go for it. It's the Iditarod after all. New charges have been filed in the death of David Grunwald, and his parents were in court and basically said that these kids are the face of evil because looking at them, you wouldn't say, oh, they did something horrible. You'd say, how could they do anything like this? He said, this is what evil looks like. Did you know that Ketchikan used to have railroads? Yeah, apparently some really short ones just to move stuff from the docks over to the sawmill and back and forth. But a lot of folks, you know, especially when you're taking a driver's test, you have to know everything about railroad crossings. But if you're driving in that area, you know, come on, we're talking about islands in the southeast. But they had railroads. Crazy, huh? And, of course, everybody's talking about the big winter storm that's supposed to be hitting Fairbanks today and tonight and tomorrow. And some basic advice given out by GVAA, which is good advice no matter what, in terms of having emergency supplies on hand and what to do in the case of a power outage. This is one of the main reasons why we installed a wood stove in our house several years ago, actually 10 years ago maybe. Anyway, the whole point was that we wanted to make sure that we were ready just in case the power went out, because guess what? Most people that rely on heating oil to heat their homes, if the power goes out, so does your heat. Something to keep in mind. At any rate, that's our kind of a rundown on some of our Alaska news. Check out, we've got U.S. news as well as commentary. Today's commentary has to do with the issue of Israel and the Palestinians, remarks that have been made from Secretary of State Kerry, the vote for the UN, all this stuff. The question is, what does that have to do with me? What does it have to do with you? Is there anything you can do about it? No. But there is something that you can do in terms of your relationships at home and your relationships with your neighbors. I'll talk about that a little bit. If you like what I'm doing, please consider becoming a supporter either by a direct subscription at my website, radiofreespeech.com, or by going to Patreon, follow the links here, and become a sponsor. Remember, as soon as we get the phone lines hooked up and ready to go, we'll start having some two-way conversations and really dig in deep on some of these issues. Radiofreespeech.com. Tell all your friends. Thanks.